What it do, ski YouTube? I am back with another review. I'm about to review the much anticipated Scream 6. I'm gonna try to keep it under 15 minutes, so there's gonna be a lot of jumping around, stuff gonna be cut out. Bear with me, I'm doing this from my phone, so let's get right into it. It's just me and this legal pad. So let's get right into it. First things first, this Scream is top 3. It's top 3. I don't care what you say. If you say it's not top 3, I need you to go back and watch it again, because it is top 3. I mean, it's like Radio Silence was checking Twitter, they was checking Facebook, they was checking Instagram, checking YouTube, hearing what we had to say as the fans. I got one partner who said, man, I want a Ghostface kill and reveal, and we got both, right? Let's jump into it. So on the way to the theater, my homeboy asked me, yo, who do you think is gonna be the opening kill? And I was like, man, I think it's gonna be Jib from Dope. If you ever saw the movie Dope, that's Tony Revolori, who played Flash Thompson in the Tom Holland Spider-Man joints. And I said it's gonna be either him or Samara Weaving. And no disrespect to Samara Weaving, but there's already so many other girls that could be Final Girl. I just didn't think that she would make the cut, right? And come to find out, I was right. So the movie begins with, and I'm gonna jump around, but the movie, that cold open, we got to talk about that cold open. So the movie begins with film studies professor, hold on one second, Laura Crane, who was played by Samara Weaving, and she is sitting at a bar, and she's waiting on her date, and her date calls her and leads her out into an alley because they're saying that they're lost. Mistake number one. And she gets rushed in the alley and she's killed, and then the person who kills her has a Ghostface mask on. They take it off to reveal themselves to be this character named Jason, which was played by Tony Revolori. He goes home and he's looking for his roommate Greg. He gets a call, and Greg is using the voice changer, or he thinks it's Greg. He washes the blood off and he's asking him how was the killing, and he's like, oh, we're not going to talk about it over the phone, blah blah blah. And Radio Silence, I peeped. I saw Jason was watching Jason Takes Manhattan, because Scream 6 is in New York, even though they filmed it in Canada. I see what you did, though. So he starts to realize, this doesn't sound like my actual roommate. What is this? And the person on the other end of the phone is like, oh man, like, let's play this game. Hotter, colder. Like, you're getting warmer, you're getting colder. And eventually that leads him to the refrigerator. He opens it and finds his roommate Greg decapitated, head and body, in the refrigerator, which I think is a nod to one of the early Fridays as well. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. So anyway, Jason turns around and gets destroyed by what we're gonna call the real Ghostface for this movie. Laid him out, and I'm saying, like, the brutality is on another level. Just got him up out of there. So that was the opening kill. The opening scene, we got 3 kills for the price of 1. So then there's a transition. You have Tara is at a party. Guy tried to have his way with her, if you will. Chad stepped in. I love the character building of Chad. He definitely might become, or already is, my favorite character. He's somewhere on that borderline. He steps in, meanwhile, Sam is talking to her therapist. Her therapist says he's not equipped to deal with this kind of thing after she finally talks about Richie's murder and so on and so forth. But that also introduces us to these new characters. So we meet Officer Wayne Bailey, Quinn, whose last name we did not get at the beginning of the movie, I don't believe. And then there was also Ethan, whose last name was Landry. We also had Annika, or Anika, who was Mindy's girlfriend. So When the sisters are out, they're like, hey, they start to see the stuff on the news, like, hey, Ghostface is back, we can't split up, so on and so forth. Well, Sam gets a call from Richie Kirsch, which is like, how if he's deceased? So, Ghostface tells Sam to watch her back, and she's like, oh, you better watch yours. And right at that same moment, out of the darkness, a Ghostface grabs Tara. Tara gives him the back elbow joint, you know, like you trying to get out of somebody trying to put you in a sleeper hold, and they run into the bodega. Now I gotta talk about this real quick, and then we're gonna jump around. That bodega scene, you know, had me leaned in like this here, right? That I love. I mean, they were help. Somebody's chasing us. He came in. The one dude was like, hey, buddy, what's up? Got with him real quick. My man who was running the counter, you know, he pulled out that shotgun. And so here's the thing. I'm not exactly sure who was in the Ghostface costume at this point. And I'll come back to this. But he killed the owner of the bodega. One hand, the shotgun. Pow. The girls push the rack over on top of Ghostface. They run out, and there's a bunch of cops there. The response time was kind of quick, wasn't it? And then when they turn back around, the Ghostface mask is laying on the floor there. I don't know. So, from there, I'm sorry, I have a list of things I wanted to hit on. So then, let's just skip ahead. We get Mindy's breakdown. You know, suspects. Hey, we are in a sequel to a requel, which means that everybody is fair game. Main characters, legacy characters, everything. You know, you're either in the friend group or you're an enemy. Here come Ethan. Here come Ethan. Am I in the friend group? Are you sitting with the friends right now? What are you talking about? Let me write him down. That's what I definitely did. Excuse me. And then I just love the way that Mindy just break everything down. Like she puts it in a way where somebody who doesn't watch horror can understand the rules of horror. You know what I mean? Super dope. But after that, let's talk about when Quinn died. You know, they become the core four between Chad, Mindy, Tara, Sam. They become the core four, and Quinn is laying on the bed, and Danny can see Ghostface behind her. He doesn't try to kill her at all. Now, this is the most vicious we've seen Ghostface thus far, and he just walks straight past. Chris Jericho, you just made the list. No, I don't trust it. So, I've never seen Ghostface as persistent as he was in this movie. My God. Like, just, they're knocking the door off the hinges persistent. And stabbed Annika in the stomach, and when he twisted, you're losing a lot of blood. And then it comes to that suspenseful ass ladder scene. Oh my Lord, my hands were sweating watching that scene, and I just knew somebody wasn't going to make it, right? And they all get across except Annika. She was so scared. You know what I mean? You couple that in with the pain, she just wasn't going to make it. And I don't know if Ghostface was playing with her or if he couldn't turn the ladder. I'm not sure. But eventually he turns the ladder, and man, she fell off that ladder and she hit her face on that dumpster. The way she hit her face on that dumpster, and she just started hemolyzing and hemorrhaging all that blood. Oh, it was so gross, but like, it was realistic too, because that's what would happen. You'd immediately start swelling. Not that you would survive it, but it's a natural response. So, somewhere in between there, Quinn comes out. She's cut. Just her throat is cut. And she just falls back all casually. I don't trust something about that. Everybody else's death has been this vicious, brutal-ass death. And you telling me that she just, one little slit to her throat, nothing else? Alright. So, cut to Bailey. He coming through with that fake crying and stuff. I don't think I saw him shed one tear. Now, you moved to New York after we heard them say, oh, well, Quinn was telling Tara, oh, you know, like, lost a brother. But that's kind of where she left it. And my thing is like, so you lost your brother. he moved with you to New York to get on the police force so he could watch over Quinn. At least that's what she said. And at least that's what he said, right? You die with the lie, right? And so you already lost a child, and now your daughter dies, and you can't even muster a tear, and you want me to believe that you are not complicit in what just happened? You just made the list. No, sir. So, Gale. A lot of people wanted Gale to die. Like, I don't know why. I like Gale. I mean, she's not my favorite character, but I like Gale. I guess for me personally, I don't want her to die because she's the only legacy character that we got. If Sydney doesn't come back and Dewey being gone, it's the only legacy character we got, you know? But then we gotta talk about this right here. Ghostface. Who was Ghostface when they was coming after Gale? They was jumping over couches and like they was doing the hurdle, like they was doing hurdles in the Olympics or something. Like, who was that? And that part where where Gale was like, "Could you hold, please?" And Ghostface was like, "What?" She called the number back. Here's the problem I have. The number popped up on the caller ID, so yes, she could call the number back. She switched lines, called the number back. But if Ghostface was calling on a cell phone, which, yeah, because a house phone wouldn't have stretched that distance, right? So if Ghostface didn't hang up and was still on hold, which I believe, then the phone shouldn't have rang out loud because cell phones have call waiting. That's a plot hole. Another thing is, how did Gale get the key cards to the theater? I don't have the answers to these questions. So, now, oh, you thought, yeah, she shoots into the closet. You hear the, so, Ghostface is still there. They get into their tussle. Ghostface goes into that glass table. And then you thought that Gale was maybe about to finally kill this Ghostface. And Ghostface sprang to action with that shard of glass, stabbed her in the stomach. And we almost lost Gale. And that's when Sam and Tara come in and they run Ghostface out. The way Ghostface was running, you would have thought his name was Barry Allen. Like, come on. So then, what's next? So after that, we all got to stick together. Subway. Mindy gets stabbed because she's on a different train. But Mindy called it from RIP. I mean, that's why I love her character, man. Mindy called it. She was like, she texted Chad. She said, "I'm on the next train with Ethan, a.k.a. Ghostface. Let's go," right? So she gets stabbed in the stomach in front of people right there, and they're sleeping. Maybe that's just how New York is. I don't know. I don't really buy that, but okay. So now you got Gale, Mindy in the hospital. And up to this point, I know I hadn't mentioned Kirby, but I loved seeing Kirby back, right? It was great. So they go back to the theater. You have this whole Core 4 thing happening. One thing I'm wondering is now with the budding relationship between Tara and Chad, I was so glad when they kissed each other. I was like, yes, like my guy. But one thing I'm worried about or questioning, concerned about, whatever you want to say, is Mindy gonna at some point become jealous of their relationship because she had to give up her girlfriend in Scream 5, her girlfriend got killed in 6, what will happen, you know what I mean, in 7? So so we get to that third act. They're inside the kill box, which, they're in there looking at the they're in the shrine. And so one thing I have to say about this, one thing I'm not a fan of is Sam seeing Billy. Now, okay, I don't have a problem with that. It's like, you could bring Skeet Ulrich back, but you can't bring back my man Matthew Lillard. That's a topic for another day. But one thing I don't like is like this redemptive storyline they're trying to have for Billy. Like, because you're rooting for Sam, and you're like, oh, she's seeing Billy, Team Loomis, let's go. No, for me, he always felt like one of those real killers, like Dahmer, like Gacy, like Ramirez. He always felt like that to me. And I mean, that's just a credit to Skeet Ulrich's acting in 96. But to me, those type of people are unredeemable. That's just my opinion on that. So I'm not going to root for him. You know what I mean? And Sam is unhinged. We know something is wrong with Sam. So they're in the theater. They're locked in. All of a sudden, Sam gets a call. from Bailey talking about Kirby snapped and she got fired from the FBI in Atlanta. A bunch of BS, right? Because I was already on his case from the fake crying thing. So they're running from Ghostface, and I think they think it's only one. Then they get cut off by a second one because Chad is about to hit them with, I don't know, was it the popcorn thing or the candy machine? I think it was. He was about to hit one Ghostface with, and then the other one came from behind and stabbed him like in the ribs, and then they grabbed him by his arms and they lit his ass up. I was so hot. Like, I didn't even care how the movie ended at that point. I was so hot because Chad got killed. Like, what? Y'all are playing with my emotions. Like, so so we get to the standoff and there's the reveal, and then Kirby comes in. You know, you got Ghostface on one side, on each side, and Sam and Tara back to back on some Wolverine Sabretooth type shit, and they're back to back, and she's like, I need you to be ready, you know. And Tara, she musters up the courage, like, come on, mother, you know, right? And then that's when Bailey comes running in, that's when Kirby comes running in. They don't know who to believe. And then Ghostface comes up behind Bailey, and then Kirby's like, behind you, and then that Ghostface puts the knife down and he shoots Kirby, and then yeah, of course it's me. Dog. Top 3 weakest reveals in Scream for me personally. I did not like that. I did not enjoy that, man. And it actually, for a while, like my rating was a little bit on the lower side because of that. Like, the movie was so good until that part, to me personally, right? Now, I'm gonna wrap this up here in a couple minutes. So you have one thing that I noticed, you know, the reveal, it just personally, it doesn't work for me, because like you're trying to keep something going on from, you know, from previous, and then you find out that Ethan's last name is Bailey, and so is Quinn. They just faked her death, you know, all that stuff, and it's like, I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me personally. So one thing I wanted to talk about that I do notice is Sam's taunting. Did y'all notice how she was taunting Bailey? She said a litany of things about Richie. That you find out that they are Richie's family, basically. Which brings me to another question. All 3 members of his family snapped. Where's the mom at? And if his last name is Kirsch, is their last name really Bailey? Or is their last name Kirsch? I don't know. There's some unanswered questions, right? But back to Sam's taunting. You remember she kind of, you know, she taunted Richie when she had, you know, where's Tara? Because I cut her free. And she had that little smirk on her face. And then she said a litany of insults about Richie that I will not repeat on here to get under Bailey. You know, and that's when that action happened with the weapons. Boy, Tara bust Quinn in the mouth with that brick gang. Bust her in the mouth with that brick. And she was on the ground spitting out her chiclets, wasn't she? Woo! The viciousness was on another level, man. You get to that part where she's hanging off the balcony and she's like, Sam, you gotta let me go. She gave her that knife. And I noticed too that Ethan was like, I always wanted to stick something in you, Tara. I always had a thing for you, Sid. And it's like they keep laying these Easter eggs there to Stu, but they won't just put him back in. I don't know. So anyway, here we go. Ending. So she lets her go. Ethan stabs Tara in the stomach. She stabbed him in the mouth and twisted that jaw. Told him he was going to die a virgin, which he had asked, am I going to die a virgin? Earlier. Yes, sir, you did. But my thing is, did you notice how unhinged Tara was? She pulled that knife out and that blood shot all over her face. And she got all, oh my God, man. Scream 7, the Carpenter Sisters Massacre. Like, come on. And then Quinn saw that. Boom. Sam shot her right in the head. Bailey saw that. The gun, I think, jammed because it wasn't empty. The hammer it didn't slide all the way back. So I think the gun jammed. They fall over the balcony. He lands on that glass, like, display case, which knocked him out longer. Sam gets up, puts on Billy's robe and mask. And let me tell you, let's have a moment of silence. I know his character. I know he was bad character, but We need to have a moment of silence for Detective Wayne Bailey. Okay, what Sam did to him was some of the most disrespectful. I feel like Radio Silence was like, hey, Melissa, Jenna, go watch Halloween Kills and then come up with your own kills and then we gonna record it. I think he stabbed. Now I know he had the bulletproof vest on, and she was stabbing him on, the shoulders and the edges because of the vest. I get that, but she stabbed him. I counted somewhere between 29 and 32 times. What? What? Oh my Lord! Like, when is it excessive? And you saw she was about to get with him, and then Tara came up and she kind of looked at her and she's like, "Oh, my bad. I ain't really crazy like you think I am." And then Tara gave her that smile, like, and then she was like, "Oh, well then, you effed with our family." Bye-yow! Stabbed him right in his eye. In his eye! Are you kidding me? Man, so we got Gale, Mindy in the hospital. Kirby survives, and then the killer always comes back. Here come Ethan, and Kirby pushed that TV. Now, if the TV killed him, then it killed Stu. I have to believe that. Okay, so that is where it ends. Did Kirby fall back down? I can't remember. But Kirby gets saved. Mindy comes running up. She's like, "I know who the killers are." And they're like, "You're a little late for that, right?" And then Tara starts crying because of Chad. And then who do we see getting rolled by on a stretcher? Chad! How? They lit his ass up with them. There's no... Chad is the Terminator. They really about to make him... Like, he's not going to be able to be an athlete no more, obviously. I mean, he's about to be the new Dewey. I don't know how I feel about that. But that said, this movie was fantastic. At first, because of the reveal, because I hated that reveal so much on first watch, I gave that John a 7. But after thinking about it, watching it again, that joint's a 9, That joint's a 9. It was better than Halloween Ends. No disrespect, but it was better, right? So my ranking, if you want to know, is 2, 6, 1, 5, 4, and in the basement, buried underneath some clothes that you ain't worn in about 10 years, is 3. So let me show you how much of a non-factor that Roman is. If you like Scream 3, let me show you real quick. I know this is getting long. Let me show you how much of a non-factor he is. Gale in Scream 5 was like, "If I had never written this book, I started all this when I wrote that book." And Sydney was like, "No, Billy Loomis started." Didn't Roman put the battery in Billy's back, though? I ain't got nothing else to say. That said, if you hung out to the end of the video, man, I appreciate it. Get active in the comments. Let's talk about this. This was fire. Can't wait to see Scream 7, see how they end it. And usually the second movie in the trilogy, is like bad, or some people don't like it, like Halloween Kills, The Last Jedi, stuff like that. So this was a home run. They swung for the fences and they got a home run. So get active in the comments, man. Make sure y'all hit up my friends Brandon over at I Like Scary, Anthony, Child of the Corn, Everything's Terry, Universal Nightmares. Make sure you hit up Shaping the Shadows, see what all of their opinions are on it. And March 14th 8:30 Central Time, I'm going to be on I Like Scary. I'm going to link his Scream review up here. I'm going to be on I Like Scary. I'm going to be on his panel March 14th 8 o'clock Central Time, for us to talk about Scream and what we liked and disliked about the movie. So other than that, y'all, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Get active in the comments. Thanks for watching. Love. Peace.